Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sean Giordano with TechExtend, Vice President of Sales for the company, and I wanted to welcome you to the CA ARCserve R16 Creating Infinite Possibilities to Protect Business Critical Information webinar. Before the webinar begins, I will briefly discuss who we are as an organization, and then I will turn it over to John Benjamin from CA to discuss CA R16. Programmer's Paradise has recently changed its name in July to TechExtend to better serve our customers. We have been in the business for over 30 years providing customers with IT solutions, and we focus on infrastructure as well as programming and development tools. You can visit us at techextend.com. Our database worldview ecosystem is unique to our organization, and we'll go over that in the following slide. But first, a little bit about us as a CA partner. We're an elite CA reseller, and we have a dedicated CA sales and engineering team to support our customers. We also provide our customers with database modeling and infrastructure design and training services, and we're an authorized CA delivery partner of CA Education, as well as VET and VSA partner. About our worldviews, whether you decide to have Microsoft, Oracle, Embarcadero, Sybase, or IBM as your database platform, we can help you by helping you make choices for industry-leading tools in the areas of design modeling, develop and test, deploy, and management. So whatever tools you need, we can provide you to help to find the right choice for your organization. With that, now I'll turn it over to John Benjamin from CA.
Thank you, Sean. Good to talk with you again and to join you in one of these presentations. And thank you all for joining as well. As TechExtend has had a long history as well in the software industry, CA has also been in the industry for over 35 years, and myself with CA for almost 10 years now. And one of the things that we really want to be able to talk about today is really making sure that we kind of connect the dots between the relationship you have with your partners and the vendors that they have. So as we move forward here with the presentation here shortly, you'll see my slides presented. We want to really make sure that you as customers understand how TechExtend, using solutions like CA technologies, can actually help minimize some of the complexity that goes on in organizations today, as well as allowing you to leverage some of the key solutions that are involved within the products and information that's here today. All right. Now, our slides will be coming here shortly. I believe we're moving out of the looping. And one of the things that we've done this year with the release of R16 is wanted to really extend the boundaries of protection from the conventional areas that most organizations have been confined to based on the limitations of some of the software solutions that are available in the marketplace today. But when we look at challenges in the marketplace or the issues that organizations are struggling with today, you notice there are many things. Of course, cost being one of the top reasons people are perhaps reluctant to move, but sometimes the cost of not making an investment in future technology is one that creates even more long-term challenges. But organizations are working with how to reduce the cost of acquiring technology, maintaining the proper support and service levels for disaster recovery based on the current investment, how to protect at a minimum cost intellectual property in an organization, and second to employees, the data or information that you have within your organization is probably the most vital asset. And of course, managing, as indicated before, the complexity of how to mix physical and virtual systems or operating systems with those respective applications that might be running on those particular systems. How do you manage and address disaster recovery needs with fewer products or point solutions or solutions that scale and better to consolidate that into a easier to manage type of protection topology. And of course, you want to be able to scale and meet the different types of current requirements you have in your organization, as well as some of those that may be emerging in the future. It also goes down to selecting the right capabilities as far as how do you manage some of these issues today. complexity to meet, recovery time and service level agreements, because you have different constituents and different organizations within your business that might have different service level agreements in case of a crisis, how you set the right priorities, maximize protection while simplifying the infrastructure, not adding too many, as I mentioned before, point solutions where it becomes difficult for your IT staff to maximize the management and use of those solutions, and ensure scalability. Because one of the biggest challenges in organizations today is I might buy a solution today, but will it be able to grow with me as my organization grows, or the infrastructure changes, or the IT horizon changes? And of course, growth through innovation. Customers today are really challenged with the fact that, well, how do I leverage and maximize the benefits of virtualization? And of course, cloud, becoming probably one of the most common terminologies used today as far as, people who are investigating cloud or actually starting to use it today. And what can I automate as far as processes, and then what new technologies that a vendor today might be taking advantage of that I can also take advantage of, or grow with them in that particular area. So there are a lot of issues that organizations today wrestle with. So what are your opportunities through TechXtend and CA Technologies? Well, some of them, it's really about how to address the avoidable cost of downtime. So taking technology and putting some numbers behind it. Very often we can talk about what our product does and why it's good to invest. But one of the things we've done with partners like TechXtend is really to put some numbers behind what the cost of not implementing the right disaster recovery plan, and also not implementing the right software solution to support that disaster recovery plan can entail. So in North America, you can see, we did about an independent study where 2,000 customers were surveyed, and of those 2,200 were interviewed. And what we found is that in North America alone, there was $26.5 billion lost in revenue because of downtime. That's an average of about $160,000 per company. And as far as how that breaks out, you could look at large enterprises, medium businesses, and small businesses as the segments that we identified. A small business lost about $52,000 a year. Medium business lost about $92,000 a year, and a large enterprise lost about $1 million. But those are unrecoverable funds due to not having the right solution in place. In addition to that, businesses collectively suffered from approximately $1.6 million worth of IT downtime. It works out to be an average of about 10 hours per company. And this is when critical systems were unavailable. This does not count, perhaps, the unavailability or the residual effects when your systems are back online, but there's some still back end processes that have not been taken care of. And when looking at these particular downtime scenarios, business critical systems were interrupted, companies estimate that their ability to generate revenue was reduced by about 1/3, almost 30%, according to the 29% as you see here. So the goal, one of the reasons why TechXtend invests in relationships with CA Technologies and the ARCserve family of products is really to offer you the opportunity to mitigate some of these very costly penalties to not having the right solution in place. But you need to have a solution that's comprehensive, but also a provider like a TechXtend or CA that can help you deliver that. So how and where you'll actually use some of this comprehensive protection is going to be critical. Will you be able to protect all the data, systems, and applications on physical and virtual servers? What type of backup methods and how are you using them today to protect that intellectual property to discuss before? Is it file-level backup, disk-based, or snapshots, using replication or high availability? In addition, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the different locations. And we mentioned cloud, and although cloud has this mystique about it, it's really in a simplified fashion. It's just another location where data can actually be laid and protected. So cloud, disk, tape, on-premise or off-premise, those are the kind of things you want to be able to look at as far as storage locations. And of course, it's not really about the backup of data that's most important. It's really about the restoration of the data when you actually need that information. So backing up is critical, but if you back it up and can't get to it when you have an outage or a particular interruption in your business systems or applications of data, that's the critical part, being able to restore that data. Full system or applications, granular application recovery files and folders, of course, and will that be done through an end user or will that have to require admin intervention? So some of the things that executives like that we talk to on a regular basis have to wrestle with is how do I manage those particular key areas that you see listed here? The risk, the cost, and the time. The risk, deliberate data security, because it requires great visibility. When you have the right solution in place, you mitigate, you become basically unknown. But when that risk actually becomes a problem and then the actual crisis occurs, everything is very visible. You want to be able to have a tool that helps protect you, your organization, and your end users as well. Optimizing IT resources, of course, and reducing the time to get it back. Terminologies like RPO and RTO, which are recovery point objectives and recovery time objectives, are quickly taking hold in many marketplaces. How quickly can I get the data back, and can I get back to a point where the data is valid and usable? These are some of the things that people are also wrestling with the cloud. What is the security of the cloud? Can I optimize the actual capabilities of cloud with today's technology? How quickly can I get the data back? So when we look at cloud, although it's a different location, and this cuts across public cloud and private cloud, these are some solutions that CA has invested significantly in to expand its portfolio. So not only doing on-premise, back up to tape and to disk, or off-premise with replication, but we can do a hybrid version of that now with protecting it on-premise, as I said before, on disk, tape, but also doing it to the cloud. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move a little bit further forward in our conversation. So let's talk about the ARCserve r16 solutions. As we titled this particular webinar, it's really about the infinite possibilities that are available for data protection. The ARCserve family of products itself is a very strong and robust and very flexible solution offering. You can buy the solution in a modular format, or you can buy it, as we'll talk, in a bundle format as well. That makes one of the solutions that TechExtend offers very, very flexible for all size organizations, because now you don't have to worry about is it one size for all. We actually can take the solution and tailor it. So you can see here we have CA ARCserve Backup listed, CA ARCserve D2D, CA ARCserve High Availability, and CA ARCserve Replication. Getting control over the data that you have in your organization and data growth is a big challenge. Managing it through virtualized environments, physical environments. Customers need modern data protection and different types of ways of doing it and techniques to really mix and match those types of architectures as well as different applications, be it Microsoft platforms such as SQL and Exchange, or other applications such as BlackBerry, Oracle, things just to name a few. So you need a hybrid protection that combines local protection, recovery, availability with off-premise and or cloud protection for disaster recovery, as well as archiving. And these type of multiple capabilities are included in the new release of CA ARCserve r16. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we move forward. So throughout our conversation today, one of the key things I want you to remember is that hybrid data protection approach that CA brings through TechExtend to the marketplace. We can do the virtualized environments, the physical servers, cloud, application recovery, as well as, of course, systems and data protection as well. Now let's look at the ARCserve r16 family. For those of you who aren't familiar with the products, we're going to go into a little bit more depth with how these solutions differentiate themselves and how these particular individual solutions can help create those infinite possibilities of data protection and high availability. So ARCserve Backup, which has been in the marketplace for over 20 years, is a leader in technology for backing up the tape as well as disk to tape. Here are some of the particular features that make ARCserve Backup unique. One of the things that we brought to the marketplace first is the integrated data duplication at no additional cost. So that's a part of the core product out of the box that you as end users can receive when acquiring this solution. Very good use of VMware and Hyper-V, as well as support for Citrix Zen. We have a nice dashboard. We've added, as you can see here, new file archiving to this particular release. And a couple other areas that I want to point out before we won't go into all of these with the time we have here, but we have integrated backup to cloud now as a part of ARCserve Backup, synthetic full backups, and now integration with ARCserve D2D to allow us to be able to back up ARCserve D2D snapshots very quickly to tape as necessary for your organization should they require that for compliance reasons. So, when we look at what's new, archiving to the cloud, our WinPE disaster recovery, expanding the disaster recovery capabilities of ARCserve Backup, synthetic full backups, and of course, D2D integration as a summary. When you look at some of the reasons why this particular solution is really so compelling is when customers are looking for a solution, they'd like to have as much or out of one particular purchase as possible, or ROI as I like to call it, return on investment. So ARCserve now includes, in addition to the data duplication and the dashboard and SRM capabilities, the automated policy-based archiving of files. You can set policies and schedule it. So if you have data that you have had that's on your servers for a long period of time, you can now move them to another location where it's not taking up relevant space for data that needs to be addressed. Or you can actually exclude files like music, video, etc., and archive only the data that you actually need to, claiming some of that critical disk space. Now, this particular feature addresses the need to free up storage, because disk, although it's dropping in price, continues to be a commodity that requires keen eyes because of how quickly data is accumulating on servers, and it's sometimes data about data, metadata. So we have to make sure we're looking at that. You can see that the graphical user interface is very clean and very straightforward, allowing customers to do faster backups and reduce some of the restoration times. As we're looking at the particular dashboard capabilities, the new archiving reports are also expanding the reports that are available under our dashboard. So you can now see, which particular node status and the archiving that has been done on that service, job status reports. Users can check the most recent archive status and make sure the appropriate items are being moved as requested, and the total archive size, so they can keep track of what that now looks like to its resting place or its new resting place. All right, and there's another couple of examples of some reports that you can have. We've tried to expand the capabilities of this solution to give all different types of slices. The reports in our SRM solution really offer very flexible, very keen reporting for those individuals who need to have those types of data on what's going on in their environments. When we look at the integrated copy to cloud, here's where ARCserve r16 continues to elevate itself over competitive solutions, and also from a unification perspective of allowing customers to have endless capabilities or infinite possibilities of what they can do with the data. Now you can back up to a public or private cloud. You can archive data and store it in the cloud. This particular solution that we're talking about here with ARCserve Backup gives you access to Amazon AWS S3, which is the Amazon Web Services. And now, of course, any of the Amazon type of billing you take care of with Amazon, but now with our backup solution, we now allow you with the connector to have this as an alternative. And you may have seen the announcement as well. We've also announced with ARCserve D2D, I'll talk about shortly, also some cloud capabilities. So simple integration to access the cloud, easily identify and browse the cloud. You just fill in the information with the appropriate bucket of data that you need, and that's, again, it gives customers that off-site flexibility to meet their expanding data growth needs. When we continue to look at additional enhancements, synthetic full backups have been things that people have looked at as an advantage, an enhancement that they would like to embrace. So what we've done now is allowing us to be able to create synthetic full backups automatically, allowing you to schedule these as well, creating greater efficiencies for customers not having to create their own the combination of merging incrementals into the fulls. Now this can be done in an automated fashion, helping you simplify the way it's done and also saving space on the actual servers. Simple checkbox activates this particular solution, and it provides the daily ability to file level to merge those file level incremental backups and to a forever mode. So now you're doing this automatically, and it will synthesize all those particular incrementals and sessions into a full, and then present that full to you as one full synthetic full backup. It's a very cool technology. Simple point-in-time restore selection from the backup source, or you can do that from the dashboard as well. So again, easy to help customers recover from full recovery needs or points in time. When we look at the integration with ARCserve D2D, this really takes the simplification of my bare metal recovery type protection and combining that with the file level archiving capability of ARCserve Backup. So ARCserve D2D, which we'll talk about shortly, is our disk-based backup solution that's strictly Windows that provides very strong bare metal recovery to dissimilar hardware. So because it gives snapshots very quickly, it's a customer choice very often when you're putting on high value servers that you want to be able to rebuild very quickly. So with R15, we did not have some strong integration that we do today with R16. So this gives us the ability now to deploy agents with ARCserve Client Agent. You can manually do this, and you can right-click on the ARCserve D2D servers, enter the backup screen, and choose to add the server by name. This really gives flexibility of recovering those disk-based backup images and filing and putting them to tape, because some organizations really want to be able to make sure they also back those up for long-term archiving purposes as well. So as you look here at ARCserve Backup and D2D, just kind of giving you a kind of a flow chart of how this would look, you can see that the backup server, client agent, would install on the D2D server and discover the backup manager. All right. From that particular point, the D2D server is added to the backup tree. You create a backup job using D2D as the source and any combination of backup media devices. All right. From that particular point, the backup job runs, validates the credentials, the backup job and files from the last D2D backup on disk. They converted the data to a regular file, and it passes that information on to the client agent as a files where it's read by ARCserve Backup. And then the files are written to the media device of choice on ARCserve Backup. Very clean, very efficient, again, getting the best combination of recovery point objective and recovery time objective technologies. Quick file level restoration, archiving capabilities with ARCserve Backup, which also provides you protection in Windows, Linux, Unix environments, and very fast, high recovery point granularity with ARCserve D2D, bare metal recovery to dissimilar hardware. Very, very cool technology. So ARCserve D2D Backup integration with D2D gives you 3 different ways to restore the data. So you can do file folder level restoration. As I said to you before, it's not only about the backup. It's more important about how quickly you can recover it and the different ways you can restore data. So you can restore it from a file folder perspective, application level restores, of course, raw D2D session that restores as well. We're trying to create the best possible methods for you to recover that information. What differentiates ARCserve Backup is summary, again, integrated data duplication, no additional cost. Competitors charge extra for this. The integrated dashboard, again, part of the core product, no additional cost. The ability to have infrastructure visualization built into the product, and unparalleled integration with disk imaging with our ARCserve D2D. And of course, you can see with the additional features added with R16, even the cloud capabilities providing that hybrid data protection approach. So now look at ARCserve D2D, which is our disk-based, Windows-based bare metal recovery solution. All right. What makes this particular solution unique is competitors in the marketplace had similar solutions, but we wanted to look at what particular gaps of protection were not available to customers and really deliver that to the marketplace. So with ARCserve D2D, we provide a block-level infinite incremental snapshots, our patent-pending I2 technology. And what this allows us to do is basically backup only or via snapshots to change blocks. So it's almost like data duplication, where only the unique data is being backed up. After the initial full backup is done, you need not do any more full backups because we're merging each of the oldest recovery points into that initial and only full. We also do bare metal recovery to dissimilar hardware that I referenced earlier, which gives customers great flexibility in time of a crisis to pick the available hardware and put that data back into use as quickly as possible so you can deliver the core level service levels to your organization and your constituents as needed. We added this year the capability to do integrated cloud storage, again, capitalizing on the CA Technologies cloud prowess and focus. We are now allowing you to do laptop and desktop protection with the ARCserve D2D, essentially manage this, which again was not a feature that was in R15 last year, and of course ability to use now central applications to essentially manage all the ARCserve D2D instances. Just to bring to you the competitive advantages, an independent study that was commissioned by CA really compared ARCserve D2D R15 against Symantec, which is probably one of the better known competitors in the marketplace. You can see that we outperform them significantly in key areas. And one of the ones I want to emphasize was, again, it used less disk space. It required no additional full backups, which our competitor, Symantec and others, after a certain number of recovery points, still have to do another backup to consolidate those recovery points, which creates another point of failure, requires more time, and of course more space. So these particular reports, competitive reports, are available to you through TechExtend. You can just reach out to them for their particular reports. One of the differentiators is the ability to do a single snapshot, but give you 5 different restore types: file and folder level restorations, bare metal recovery, SQL level recovery, Exchange recovery at the database level, and now with R16 we're allowing the ability to do a Microsoft Exchange granular mailbox and message level restoration. So very, very, I think, popular with administrators to be able to take some of that load off of them and giving them a different level and more granular level of recovery for one of the key particular applications that drive business today. The other aspect of ARCserve D2D that's really key is the fact that it is a web-based solution, so you can access it from anywhere. Another differentiator that we like to share with our customers is the fact that you can, from ARCserve D2D, do a recovery to the same location, which most of our competitors can do, but from a web-based GUI, you can also recover to a dissimilar location, which is something that our competitors cannot do. Very flexible, very easy and fast to access, no need for a thick client that ties you down to a specific location, and we have some built-in social networking capabilities where you can communicate very easily with our developers and some of the social networking where we actually have RSS feeds and connectors to end-user groups as well. Once ARCserve D2D R16, talk a little bit about some of the advantages and some of the new features, but in particular I want to focus on some of the ones we talked about in the preview, which is going to be the cloud, the encryption capability, and the workstation capabilities. So when we look at the file copy archive, we talked about this with ARCserve Backup. We can now also copy critical data to not only to disk, we can also now copy data to the cloud. So you can do bare metal recovery quickly and locally, but you can also do copy to the cloud for selected files that are critical to the organization. And the block level archiving lets you really save and store only the blocks of the source that have changed since the last archiving, reducing, again, space and saving time. So it lets you specifically schedule this as well based on the completion of a specific number of successful backups. So automation is a part of this, kind of making sure that we can capitalize not only on the technology, but also the efficiencies built in. And of course, just expanding upon how you can do that to the cloud. It lets you copy the archive files to disk and or cloud. Again, infinite possibilities. At one point, people could only do tape, only to disk. Now we give you the ability to copy to the cloud, again, using, in this case, Amazon AWS Amazon Web Services for this particular option. You would contract, of course, with Amazon for the actual services, but we now can connect to that, making it very easy for you to restore. So if you happen to have a catastrophic loss of even your location, if you copy those particular critical files to the cloud, you can restore those files from anywhere that you have access to the Amazon Web Services. We talked about the granular recovery. This is just an example of how it enables you to do granular restoration of email level, which is something that expands upon the database level capabilities that we had last year in ARCserve D2D. When we look at encryption, one of the key things that becomes even more important these days is making sure the data is not only secure at appropriate locations, be it on tape, disk, or on the cloud, but making sure the data is encrypted. So with ARCserve D2D, we've introduced encryption. ARCserve Backup has had encryption for many years, but ARCserve D2D, this is a new addition to this particular solution, giving you military-grade capabilities, which is 256 bits AES encryption. So you can see here we also offer 128 or 192-bit encryption capability and compression capabilities should you desire to have something a little bit more less intense as far as the type of security or encryption capability. But this now gives you another way to meet certain compliance and regulatory guidelines based on having a solution that not only allows you to protect the data at multiple locations, but also encrypting the data where it happens to rest as well. Customers asked this last year, with ARCserve D2D, with great solution, back up to disk, dissimilar hardware, can you add desktop, laptop protection as well? So here in ARCserve r16 and through our recent release, now we protect those particular systems as well. You can see that the operating systems for desktops and laptops happen to be XP, Vista, and Windows 7. So basically the same strength of ARCserve D2D, but now in a desktop and laptop version as well. This is a new feature, again, allowing us to centrally manage and deploy ARCserve D2D, help reduce the workload. It gives you the ability to protect multiple servers and workstations from one single web-based console, automatic Active Directory discovery, and this way we'll be able to push out this particular solution remotely as well. Along with ARCserve Central Protection Manager, which this happens to be a complementary, no-cost solution that we're introducing this year that complements ARCserve D2D. We've also introduced at no additional cost the ARCserve Central Reporting Manager. This allows you to not only look at ARCserve D2D, but if you happen to have ARCserve Backup, you can actually look at some of those particular backups as well from one common interface. Kind of a dashboard view, one location to see all your entire backup environment. And this really helps you as end users address the single pane of glass management desire that most organizations have. I would submit to you the reason why you're doing business with TechXtend is the fact that you can get from them what you need, the software, the hardware, of course, and the opportunity to do that from one single source. And that's what CA is delivering here also from our family of products. Now, with the CA ARCserve Central Virtual Standby, this gives you the ability to really create for yourself from a physical server a ready-to-go virtual instance of your server. So in case of a crisis, you can spin up a virtual server very quickly and get back on your feet quickly, either in a VHD format or VMDK format. So for those of you who aren't technical, it would be from a VMware format or a Microsoft Hyper-V format. It really allows fast recovery and availability of IT services, from one solution, and it allows migrations on or off-premise using a VMware or Hyper-V with minimal risk. So this would be probably a similar solution with not as good a recovery point and recovery time objective as a high availability solution, because the snapshots only done to every 15 minutes. But it gives you an inexpensive way to create some very resilient infrastructure in your environment. This was introduced in R16 in this current release. To complement that is also the ARCserve Central Host VM Backup. This really is VMware only based, and it allows the ability to do raw backups and do granular level restorations of a virtual machine environment. You can do files and folders, but if you want to actually do an application granular recovery, then of course you would need to make sure that ARCserve D2D Advanced Edition is included in that particular guest or session as well. But just giving you great choices to be able to protect the data where it is, physical or virtual, on-premise or in the cloud. Now let's take a step now and look at, we talked about backing up to tape, we talked about backing up to disk, how those solutions can do hybrid protection even to the cloud. And from a recovery point perspective, now we're elevating this to saying we're shortening the recovery point, we're giving more granular capabilities from a recovery time objective as we go forward with each one of these particular solutions. So ARCserve Replication and ARCserve High Availability give you the greatest granularity of protection of replicating the data real-time in an asynchronous host-based fashion. So when you look at ARCserve Replication, here's some of the core features. Application aware for LAN and WAN replication, storage independent, so we don't care what type of storage you're using, what type of hardware. You can do one-to-many and many-to-one replication. So if you look at some of the industry or environmental items that have happened in recent months, be it fires, floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, now you'd be able to copy the data or proactively copy your data from one location to maybe multiple regions or states in the nation or countries in the world, making sure in case of a crisis that data was protected and recoverable very easily. Assured recovery, we'll talk about that, is an automated, non-disruptive way of testing the recoverability of your replica servers, a unique differentiator from some of the replication and high availability solutions that are in the marketplace today. We were the first to introduce this and continue to have very cutting-edge capabilities with this particular solution, allowing you to tell your decision makers, yes, we could recover these particular applications or in a fraction of the time because we can validate this with our disaster recovery testing capabilities with ARCserve Replication. One single console to allow you to manage these these different scenarios across your topology, and we are the only solution that gives you protection for Windows, Linux, as well as Unix environments. And of course, we support physical as well as virtualized servers in this solution. Taking the replication capabilities, so ARCserve High Availability builds upon what ARCserve Replication has. It does everything ARCserve Replication does, but more. Now, rather than having an outage that you have to recover from, ARCserve Replication can do high availability, which automatically fails you over to a location so you can maintain those core business services, maintaining your service levels and your competitive edge in the marketplace. So be it a physical or virtualized server, you can automatically or manually fail over in case of a crisis. Again, unique unified console, automatic assured recovery testing. We'll talk about that momentarily. And of course, now, again, unique Windows, Linux, and Unix protection. I want to talk a little bit about the assured recovery. This is a differentiator that allows customers, in most scenarios, most customers shy away from doing disaster recovery tests on a regular basis because they don't have the personnel, perhaps, to do a full-scale disaster recovery test of key applications and servers, or they feel the risk is too high if it were not to be completed successfully. With ARCserve Replication, or in this case, ARCserve High Availability, is the ability to actually validate the recovery of the secondary or replica server. You would actually put it in assured recovery mode. It would bring up the replication server, bring up the services, and mount the databases, and you can validate the recoverability of that server, bringing up SQL, Exchange, Oracle, BlackBerry servers, without stopping your production server. And that's the key. It does this without stopping your production server. So it can give you that assurance of the recovery of that replica server, and you can provide a printed report and test this in an unobtrusive fashion any time of the day for your organization. Application coverage. We have support for a significant number of key applications that drive business today: Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, Oracle, BlackBerry, vCenter, file server, as well as some custom application support as well. Operating system we talked about already, but a little bit further than that, you can look at the Windows clusterings, Windows Server, Enterprise Standards, Solaris, you name it here, you can see the particular players of operating systems. And of course, virtualization becomes key. Customers need to be able to protect both physical and virtualized environments. And one of the key benefits that TechXtend brings to you through CA Technologies is you can manage both your physical and your virtualized server from one source, from one solution through one vendor. And we'll talk about how you can actually acquire this from some very creative licensing very shortly as well. So full system protection was introduced in R16, so now we can actually do full system failover for your VMware ESX and vSphere servers. This is only available in Hyper-V last year, so now you can do full server failover as needed if that's a desired option. Most customers prefer the application level flexibility at the application level, monitoring each individual application, and that provides greater flexibility. But some customers wanted to have this particular flexibility, and we introduced that here in version 16. When we look at failover clustering, it still becomes a area of customer comfort of being able to take clustering. So we now support Microsoft failover clustering capabilities. We can still do the traditional cluster support. It requires the shared storage, which is accessible through any of the nodes that are available there. Of course, Windows 2008 supports multi-site clustering, which we now support with our R16 version as well. When we look at shared storage clustering, we can look at that from a shared storage perspective as well. And one of the other benefits that we have with this, you say, well, if Microsoft has some built-in capabilities, why should I look at ARCserve Replication and High Availability? A couple of reasons. We support more applications than Microsoft applications, as you saw before, and we can do it on more than one platform. So rather than being limited with your high availability and replication capabilities, ARCserve High Availability and ARCserve Replication also provide multiple platform support, which gives you greater flexibility for protecting your entire environment. Again, here's an example of how we can do a multi-site clustering without spending a great deal of time here. We can do change scenarios, so what customers wanted to be able to modify a scenario on the fly. So this now, in this particular release, allows you to modify the actual scenario while the scenario is running, without having to stop the actual scenario and stopping your protection level capabilities. And again, infinite possibilities do not stop. We are now giving you the ability not only to back up or copy or archive select files to the cloud, to do disk-to-disk to cloud capabilities of ARCserve D2D. Now we're allowing you to actually replicate and fail over to the cloud. So if you don't have a brick-and-mortar location where you feel is reliable, now through Amazon Web Services, you can also fail over to the cloud. And I want to take this opportunity to mention that also another opportunity for cloud is through ARCserve D2D on demand, which allows you to do, using the Microsoft Azure platform, to actually do disk to cloud through Microsoft Azure as well. But here, with our ARCserve Replication and High Availability, this gives you the ability to really utilize the cloud resources as a target for replication and high availability. You only pay when you pay for the services you actually use when the servers are actually running, and as long as you need it. It gives you flexibility to really eliminate the cost for a dedicated DR center, because now for some small and medium businesses, this is an alternative that's really viable. And of course, you can reduce and replace your capital expenditures with OpEx dollars, which are usually easier to manage, and eliminates the need to purchase and maintain another replica server, hardware, and those applications at those additional sites, increasing the maintenance capabilities of the solution. So we look here. We've also added encryption. So previously, vendors would ask us, our customers would ask us, how do we encrypt the data? We're not encrypting it when we're replicating it. We've told you to rely on other solutions. But we decided, this is something that I think our partners as well as customers have asked us a number of times that would be advantageous. So now within R16, we now allow you to do, the 128-bit encryption level during the actual data transfer. This really adds, again, a great level of protection for those individuals who may have high compliancy and security needs. So you can now encrypt the data, back to get the tape. You can back it up or encrypt it when you're doing it actually to disk, and of course now when replicating the data. So again, expanding upon the capability of the solution. And then look at the application support. Again, significant number of vendors supported through the ARCserve family of products, and in particular here, the ARCserve replication and high availability solutions. And then, of course, we talk about full application protection. So, we can do a very easy-to-use wizard-driven, making it very easy for you as a new user of ARCserve high availability to basically start and stop, as well as monitor those particular scenarios, regardless of the type, and to control it in the stop and stop order, especially with the custom applications that might be built on solutions such as SQL and/or Oracle. Giving you to do multi-streaming. So here's just another look at some of the capabilities. I won't drive too deep in here because I want to be able to get to some questions for you here very shortly. But this gives us the ability to have multiple streams of data per configuration, meaning 1, 5, or 10 user-defined streams. Especially those in environments which have a lot of traffic or sometimes considered high collision or high latency connection. It really continues to preserve the integrity of the write order, and as indicated here, it prevents the need to break large scenarios into multiple or smaller scenarios, which might create some management and oversight challenges. So when we look at differentiators as takeaways, again, the fact that we have assured recovery, which allows us to do disaster recovery testing on a replica server without stopping your primary server for key applications such as Exchange, SQL, Oracle, BlackBerry, key there. Simple replication, full system failover capabilities to private or public cloud, real-time server application monitoring, automated or push-button failover, depending upon your administrator's needs, and of course now custom application as well as change scenario support while the application is running. So regardless of the type of protection you need, if you're using broad utility capabilities, you have the ability to file, folder, source protection systems, as well as databases. You can use different methods. You can do your traditional backup if you want to. You can do disk snapshots, replication and high availability, and you can do any kind of combinations thereof, physical as well as virtual versions of that. And of course, now you can take advantage of cloud, local, as well as network or traditional local and network to tape, be it virtual tape library or storage area networks. So, data protection, your way, infinite possibilities through the ARCserve family of products. We're proud to be able to bring this webinar to you today through TechExtend. And again, just as we close, I want to make sure that you understand that the ARCserve family of products really gives you control over the evolving business needs that your organization has today. Total protection, recovery, and availability of those systems, applications, as well as data, and you get a solution that's easy to manage your protection in both physical as well as virtualized environment. Taking advantage, of course, in R16, the capability is now also to leverage the strength, flexibility, and resilience of the cloud, be it private and or public. And this really empowers you to take advantage of the new on-premise and on-premise capabilities that are emerging. So as differentiators from TechExtend as well as from a CA perspective, we continue, as we look at some of the business challenges earlier that we talked about, to allow customers to protect the data the way they want to and in a very efficient way. So don't compromise with your data protection. Contact your TechExtend account manager, sales representative, and we can learn more about how we can do that. From a licensing perspective, I want to end on the fact that we can license it the traditional way and a component-based. We can license it by server. But one of the other areas that we have found that many customers like is the single SKU, one license for infinite possibilities, or our managed capacity licensing. So based on a minimum of 2 terabytes, you will be able to, if you choose our managed capacity all-inclusive, get as many copies of ARCserve Backup, ARCserve D2D, ARCserve Central applications, as well as ARCserve replication and high availability that you want based on a per terabyte licensing model. So, the ability to do simplified renewals also going forward, because all your data would be, your applications that you're protecting through ARCserve family would be renewed on the same date and time. You can add the capabilities as you need it, kind of future-proofing your investments. And basically, on a perpetual basis, and if you happen to be an MSP, subscription basis, on an annual basis is when you true up based on the new terabytes, and that's how you would actually license your next level of capability. So simple and flexible licensing are also one of the key aspects, expanding on the infinite possibilities that you can achieve as far as managing, protecting, as well as future-proofing your data protection environment in architecture in the future. Well, I wanted to now just, again, give you all an opportunity, turn it back over to Sean and or our moderator to take some questions you may have from us today.
Thanks, John. We're going to open it up to some Q&A right now. If you have questions, just use your console online to ask those questions, or we'll open up the phone lines. John, it doesn't look like there's much in the way of questions right now. Actually, look, we just had one come up. It says, how do we get a copy of R16? We already have a site license for it. Pretty interesting.
Okay. So one way, so site license sounds like you may have our managed capacity. One way, you can go to ARCserve.com and do trial downloads, and you can download a copy of R16. And Sean, I thought we may even have it available on the TechExtend website as well. So you can certainly get a trial there, or send a note to us, and we can send you the link to download a copy of the CA ARCserve R16 solutions today.
John, to add to that, we absolutely do. You can find the download trial on our website at techextend.com. So anybody that's looking for a trial copy, please visit the site and download it there. Looks like we also have another question now regarding the full VMware failover for a Citrix Xen server. But that's where it ends, so I don't know what the specific question was. It's from Johnny Long. Johnny, if you want to type the rest of your question in there, please do that for us.
Yeah, or you can certainly drop a note to us, and we can certainly follow up. What's the next question we have there, Sean?
I think that's it right now. We just have those two.
Okay. Well, one of the things that people have asked us as far as the solution, we do have some videos that are available. Some of those are available through TechExtend. You can go to the website. We have short 3 to 5 minute videos expanding upon the solutions that we offer, giving you an ability to see installations, different functionality of the ARCserve family of products. But I want to thank you, Sean, the TechExtend family, and the partnership you've done throughout the years with CA Technologies. And we look forward to doing more of these in the future, and of course, servicing your customers with the infinite possibilities available to the CA ARCserve R16 family of products.
Thanks, John. Great presentation today. Obviously, we have one more question here that just came in. Can one Xen server be replicated to another without rebuilding the VMs?
Well, what I'd like to do with that one, I'd like to know a little bit more about his architecture. Typically, with our per host, we do not care what version. If he's doing replication, we can replicate at the application level. So that's one way of answering, saying yes. But if he wants to do complete with our virtual standby, I believe we can do that with our virtual standby server. But if you can send me the email with some more specifics, I'll be happy to address that specifically.
Great, thanks, John. Thank you to everybody else for attending today. We hope that you found this webinar informative. Obviously, CA's got a robust, scalable storage solution here for both the physical and virtual world. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to our sales reps to help you uncover your storage opportunities and work through your storage challenges. We're happy to help you. With that, if you would like to visit us, please send us email. Actually, visit us on the website at techextend.com or send us email at info@techextend.com. Phone numbers are there for you to view, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for attending. Take care.